Hey everyone, Clayton Smith here. Recent high-profile ransomware attacks, such as Colonial Pipeline, and as recently as just this weekend, JBS, caused me to really want to put together a quick video about how Cisco prevents ransomware. Keep in mind, this is from a very high level. I'm not going to get deeply technical about this. And for those of you that aren't aware, I'm a cybersecurity sales specialist at Cisco. So if you don't use Cisco, you may very well be able to draw some similarities in the tools that you already have, or possibly I might say something that makes you look to acquire some of the Cisco solutions that I talk about. So I'm only picking the top 3 solutions that I can think of for ransomware to focus on. Many of our other solutions also help prevent ransomware, but these are the ones that I feel are most applicable to preventing ransomware. So before I get into it, there are plenty of videos out there about how ransomware works. I'm not going to try to recreate those. And also I want to say, for those of you that know a lot about ransomware, keep in mind, I'm speaking in generalities here. It is quite possible that there are more specifics and each variant acts a little bit differently. However, generally what happens is somehow an infection, a piece of malware actually gets onto the machine. It typically from there will attempt to spread. It tries to multiply itself across the network with other machines. And then at some point, it makes a decision to reach out to command and control servers on the internet to do something we refer to as a key exchange, where it actually takes the encryption keys and it exchanges those so that now the malicious actor actually has one of the keys, and then they instruct the malware to actually encrypt the contents of your hard drive. And by doing so, now they have the key that you want access to, and so that's the final part of the ransomware chain, is when they come to you and demand money to give them that key that they have. So how do we break this chain? Well, like I said, there are 3 solutions I want to focus on today from Cisco's portfolio that assist us in breaking that chain. The first is going to be Cisco Email Security. A lot of ransomware infections actually come from phishing or spear phishing, so they come through email. So what Cisco Email Security does is it scans for malicious code within those emails. It can block senders that have a poor reputation. So for instance, if we detect that a specific IP address seems to be spewing out malicious content, we'll just block that, period. We'll block anything coming from that IP address. That's called reputation filtering. We also inspect URLs, because oftentimes it won't be a file that's attached to the URL that the malicious actor actually tries to get the user to click on, and then that actually downloads a payload. So we inspect those URLs and we go a few layers deep. So we click a few layers deep because oftentimes they'll put redirects so it stops that first inspection. And then to detect malware, we actually use the same engine as the next solution that I'm going to get to right now, which is Cisco Secure Endpoints. For those of you that might not be familiar with that name, it's because we just recently rebranded it from AMP for Endpoints, or Advanced Malware Prevention for Endpoints, to Cisco Secure Endpoints. It rolls off the tongue a little bit better. It's better. It didn't change the product. It was just simply a renaming. So what Cisco Secure Endpoints helps us do is actually stop the actual infection. So this is going to be your endpoint protection, EDR, XDR. This is your solution for that, okay? It is a client that runs on the endpoint. So it runs on Mac, Linux, Windows, etc. And it uses a whole host of detection methods, over 15 or so, and actually growing, it seems like, every month. But a couple that I like to focus on are SHA matching, AV definitions, behavioral analytics using things like machine learning. And we do this so that even if it's a file that we haven't categorized as being ransomware or malware, we can see, hey, it's doing the types of things that we would expect ransomware to do, and therefore we need to block this message, okay? Or we need to block this file, excuse me. And so the final solution I want to focus in on is Cisco Umbrella. Now this Cisco Umbrella came years ago. You may be familiar with the name OpenDNS. We acquired Cisco Umbrella from OpenDNS. Well, we acquired OpenDNS, which gave us Cisco Umbrella many years ago. So we've been growing this solution pretty tremendously, and it actually leverages both a secure internet gateway but also DNS level protection to prevent the users from actually going to these malicious sites. And in doing so, it can oftentimes prevent that command and control call out, because we know the dark places of the web. We can map those and block your users from going there. A quick kind of pro tip for those of you that maybe already have Cisco Umbrella is make sure that when the checkbox next to newly formed domains is clicked, you want that clicked because what happens is if one of your users or a piece of ransomware tries to go out to a site that the domain has just been spun up, which is very common with ransomware, if we haven't had a chance to categorize that, which happens pretty quickly, you want to block users from going there until we've had a chance to categorize those. So pro tip, make sure that you have that checkbox checked if you're a Cisco Umbrella customer. We also, with our Secure Internet Gateway, we inspect files that come through with download, again, using the same engine from Secure Endpoints. And the great thing about this is it works for devices that are both on corporate network and off corporate network. So we can protect those devices from actually doing that key exchange, really regardless of where they're at. So those are the 3 solutions I wanted to focus on just for preventing ransomware. As you all know, it's a dangerous world out there. Ransomware is on the rise. It is an area where malicious actors have figured out that they can make a lot of money. And so as they continue to make money, they're going to continue to spew out ransomware. So everyone, be safe. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. If you're one of my customers, either reach out to your account manager or reach out to me directly. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can about this. Everyone, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Take care.